Welcome back, folks. So we spent a couple of sessions going through that verse 48, and because it is kind of an important one, karmanyevadhikaras ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturpu ma te sangostu karmani. Obviously, as you saw, there is a lot more to it than just the words. Okay, we are going to move on to the next shloka. We just recited it a couple of sessions ago. Last week I couldn't record a session, but I guess that's okay. So this verse 48, Yogastat kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Yogastat, so you yogastat kuru karmani, having, being established, being situated in this yoga, this karma yoga, yogastat, being or being established, situated in this yoga, karma yoga, kuru karmani, you perform your karma, your duties. Yogastat kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Sangam is attachment. Tyaktva is to give up. Sangam tyaktva, to give up attachment. Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is Arjun. This it is actually any kind of the word Dhananjaya. Literally, it means the one who has conquered wealth. Dhana and Jaya. Dhananjaya. But it means the wealth of it if you look at it in this context, it means this spiritual wealth, one who enjoys this spiritual wealth, that is Dhananjaya. So Arjuna has got several names. We have seen some of them before. So yogastat kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo. I didn't want to do this. Siddhyo siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Just adjusting my screen so I can see everything that I want to see. So this the yoga, the karma yoga that we saw, where the emphasis is on understanding that most of the goals that we think are so big, so important in life for us are really just stepping stone towards the ultimate goal. And each and every one of us have got that one goal, and that goal is moksha. Everyone, without exception, has this one goal: freedom, emancipation. There is this one kind of freedom where the country that you live in, there were foreign rulers, and you fought for the freedom for the country, and you got free, you became free, you are no longer a slave. That is one kind of freedom. This freedom is freedom from ignorance, from our wrong notions about what affects us and how we suffer on account of that. So this, to firmly understand this, and all the time be aware of it. So the this goal that is there, we saw last time, it is a very lofty goals, and everything else falls short of it. So we have this attitude. Karma yoga is nothing but the shift in attitude with which we do our day-to-day work. This attitude is something that we outgrow the relationship we have with mundane day-to-day things. Things that were dear to us as a child no longer affect us that much because we have outgrown them. So this yoga is a technique of outgrowing these small petty things. So you, Arjuna, you steadfastly keep your mind focused. So he is in this battlefield and he is looking at his grandsire, his teacher Acharya, and the questions that he has in his mind, they they appear to be genuine. They appear to be correct, but that's just appearance. When the highest goal and compared to the highest goal, they don't matter. They got to be done. You do it. So the analogy that we have been following so far is this Bhagwad Gita is like it's like a guide. It's like a tool that an aspirant is a person who is aspiring for something, in this case moksha, and so this he is meditating and he's trying to get to this point, and when he's doing that he is facing so many problems, and this Bhagavad Gita is a guide. It explains you will see this problem and this is how you overcome it. So he's sitting there meditating, trying to focus, contemplate, and he has got these things coming. Some of them are small things, some of them are big things, some of them are Bhishmacharyas, some of them are Dronacharyas. They might appear to be important, but they are not. We have to vanquish them if we have to reach this goal of moksha. So yogastat guru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. You distance yourself from these small ambitions, small aspirations that you have, whether they turn out to be successful or not. It 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 shouldn't affect us. It doesn't directly. It's just something that keeps happening on the side. Siddhya siddhya. That's exactly what this word is. Siddhya siddhya. This I have mentioned earlier in Sanskrit. You negate things by adding the word a. So anta or yeah, anta. If we anta is end, if we want to say something without end, then we say ananta. So here siddha means successful. You take up a task and you take it to completion. That is siddha. Siddha is you cannot complete it. Or something happens and you fail is a strong word, but you are not able to get to it for whatever reasons. Things divert. So siddhya siddhya samo bhutva. Sama is equanimity. You treating them same. The literal translation of this word is somewhat deceptive. One cannot do that. The the gist of it is that one has to outgrow this, especially when these kind of teachings and these kind of um, suggestions, I'm not suggestion is the word, anyhow, teachings that that people, realize people or mature people, mm, respected people, they when they give these kind of teachings, they um, the the thought process in there is not so much that one has to there's a chance of it being misunderstood, especially in this case where to it's like we go to a doctor because there is some palpitations, there is some chest pain, and then the doctor says advises, he says, don't take stress. It's not something that you have been going out into the market and buying, and so now you want to stop doing it. It's not like you have been taking tea your whole life and now you're saying, don't take that much of tea, take instead of 1 cup, take half a cup, which also is not easy, by the way. But it's not like that. How do you reduce your stress is what the doctor says. How do you do that? You Some things it's easy to say, but you cannot convert them into practical things. So here, for somebody to give this advice, treat success and failure as same, is almost practically not achievable. What it translates to in terms of real life is you outgrow them. You outgrow the outcomes of these sentiments, the tasks, the efforts that you are doing. That is what it means. Siddha siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam. This, the ability for you to be in such a state where the outcomes of these tasks do not affect you. Namely, you are dedicated towards moksha. So these small tribulations don't affect you. To samatvam, this equanimity, this kind of a vision, this kind of state that you get into, that samatvam yoga, uchyate yoga is karma yoga, obviously, because in this chapter, that is in this part of this chapter, although this chapter's name is Sankhya Yoga, we are currently discussing karma yoga. So Krishna is saying this attitude and this ability to be situated in this state is yoga. Yoga uchyate. Uchyate is said. It is said that you are in karma yoga if you can do these things. Okay. Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanvichha kripana phalahetavaha. Durena yavaram karma. So durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. So there is the tasks, the activities that we perform, that we get into, that we that we engage our mind into are of two types. Those where you do not have this attitude of karma yoga, namely the treating them, having this highest goal and looking at these as stepping stones, and being able to be in that state where these outcomes don't affect you that much. They might affect you a little bit, but not that much. That's one perspective of doing things in life. Looking at the other perspective is to be very intimately involved in them. So you rent a car, and or even if it's your own car and there is a dent in the car, the amount of pain it causes you because of that event. If you are a person, a car karma yogi, you will just dismiss it saying, ah, it's just a car. I have got engine. On top of that, you have insurance. So really, you should not be that much worried. But it's almost as if it's not the car that's dent, it is you that is dent. So that level of intimacy that you have with these lower level karmas, that's one attitude. The other attitude is where you are using your higher intellectual reason power, especially in this human birth. We know that is the reason why initially I know it's been a while, but I went over some of these fundamental cardinal principles of Vedanta and what moksha is and the mind and how it can become free and all that. We went over that. So that to have that perspective of things, day-to-day things that you do versus being intimately attached to these things, which is exactly opposite of what is being asked of us to do. If you compare this, then Durena, there is a huge difference. Yavaram karma. This Yavaram is there are two words joined together. The sandhis, because of the sandhi, that is how they get pronounced. He and Yavaram. That these two. He and Avaram, they have come together. Durena Yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya, compared to these two that I went through, these two karmas, the attitudes, there is a gulf of difference. And the one where you are intimate with it, you are attached to it, is very bad. The the I was trying to see what translation here is far lower than yoga of wisdom is action or dhananjaya. It's basically a crude way in which to perform this, and it is absolutely not advisable. Durena yavaram karma compared to buddhi. Buddhi is intellect, wisdom. Compared to buddhi yoga dhananjaya, buddhau sharanamanvichha. Buddha is a state of being aware, of being enlightened is a pretty heavy word here. I don't want to use that, but being aware, being knowledgeable. There is difference between being knowledgeable and being enlightened. So being knowledgeable, Buddhau Sharanam. Sharana means in terms of the actual meaning, it means surrender. But here it means you are situated. Situated means that is your perspective of looking at things. So some of you might remember just a couple of sessions back, I was explaining this concept of an LLC or a private limited company, you are working for the company and you incur a loss, or you are afraid something you're doing is going to incur some loss. If you have the right attitude, you will not be disturbed because it's not going to affect you. It's the company and you are two different things over here. So Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha. Anvicha is you, it's you seek, you your attempt, you try and be in that state of mind. You take efforts, you be, mentally, you work yourself so that you can, you strive is a better word, strive to be in that state. So gradually, it's difficult initially, but gradually, as time progresses, it becomes a natural state. And then these effects also that are there, they also become, they are reduced. They get the waves that were used to be 2 feet tall or 20 feet tall are now coming down. They're 10 feet, they're 8 feet. They start coming down. Buddhau Sharanamanvicha Kripana Phala he tavaha. Phala is the fruit. Hetavaha. Hetava means that the results, the actions that we are performing, we do that, we do those, and with a result in mind. And that result, if we are attached to the results of this karma, then that again, something we have been saying all this time, the goal that Gita is talking about is a very lofty one, moksha. So you are meditating, and this is the Bible. This Gita is your guide, is your Bible of helping you in times of meditation, the problems that you face. So you are trying to focus your mind, and these other thoughts come in, and they don't come in just by itself. They come with a series of links. You, by doing this will happen, and then this will happen, and then that will happen, and then that will happen, and then this will, and this is where I want to be. I have got a mortgage of whatever, $4,000. If I save this money, and then if I do this, if I do that, then it is going to come down to 3,200. That is the hetu, phala hetu. Our target is that, and you do whatever it is you do, and instead of 3,200, you end up at 3,400, let's say. So that's, you want to call it a failure. I don't know. If you are able to make 3,100, you want to call that a success. These things shouldn't affect our mental stature. That is what he's saying, that for a person who gets disturbed, who is adversely affected by the results of these actions, that person is a very poor person. Miserly, Kripana is basically, in terms of wealth, yeah, it's a miser. So basically, he is doesn't want to give away any wealth, but basically it means he is miserable. He is all the time worried. That's what we can translate it to. Kripana phala hai tavaha. So the person who performs his actions with some desire in mind and is attached to that result of that desire, that person is never satisfied, is never happy. Something or the other will, supposing he is able to meet the target, immediately 15 other things will pop up into his brain. He has to do this, and then those targets, and it's just an endless thing. Krishna is warning Arjuna that the only way that you are going to be able to focus, concentrate, be established in your real self is by letting go of these smaller things. They will come, but the more you are able to develop the skill of ignoring them as they are popping up here and there, gradually you will be able to subdue them. That is the meaning of this verse over here. It's all of that is saying the same thing, that the karma associated with the agenda, with some agenda, and the result of that, if you are attached to that, that's the problem. Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau Sharanamanvicha, Sharana, surrender, to be established in this wisdom, Buddhau, Buddhau Sharanamanvicha, Kripana Phalahe Tavaha. So one needs to strive towards being established in this wisdom and not be entangled in these karmas that bring these smaller joys to life, if I can use that word. Okay. This is verse number 50. I don't know, maybe after this verse I might stop today. Let's see. Buddhe yukto jahati ha ubhe sukrta dushkrute tasmad yogaya yujjasva yoga karma sukaushalam. Buddhi yukta. Yukta is with, along with. Buddhi yukta. So he who is smart, basically, whatever he's doing, the aspirant person, he understands what is happening and he's smart in doing what he does, in how he does. Buddhi yukta, along in buddhi is wisdom here. Yukta is with wisdom, with intelligence. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe. Jahatiya is to give up. Ubhe means both. Ubhay, ubho. Ubhe is both. Sukruta, dushkruta. Sukruta is good actions and bad actions. Well, it could mean actions that yield in favorable and unfavorable results. Now, of course, we are not talking about something which someone is deliberately entering into a fraudulent thing. That also has a place here, but we are not talking about that. So a karma yogi, he understands that he needs to be established in this state of mind, and he realizes that just simply by saying that or deciding to eradicate all other thoughts and just focus on that is not practical, not possible. He realizes that, and therefore he he knows he cannot give up doing his day-to-day work and other, because thoughts come in his mind, they're bound to. So he keeps those thoughts, he gives those thoughts the right kind of weight. He he it takes a while for him to get used to that, or to be able to get into that mode of looking out the focus. But he, let's say that he is an advanced karma yogi and he has got to that state where he is able to understand that this karma that he is performing is basically just a under it's a stepping stone, or it's just one of the things that is happening uh, parallel to this state of state of wisdom that is present in everybody that is there. So it's there's like two separate currents that are going on. He understands that, and that one is not affecting him. So Buddha Yukta, his, with that understanding that he has, the Jahateya, he gives up, is not affected by both good outcomes and bad outcomes, good actions and bad actions. You can, they are synonymous, the outcomes, at least in this case. Tasma, therefore, yogaya yujjasva. Therefore, Arjuna, you be established in yoga. Tasmad yogaya yujjasva. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. This yoga, this karma yoga, this establishing of your mind in this unperturbed state, this is the best kind of thing, and this is the correct yoga. Your ability to be able to stay in this state of wisdom, that is your highest skill. Kaushalam is skill. Tasmad yogaya yujjasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. If you put all these teachings that we have been studying so far, if you put all of them together, the skill is for you to be able to look at them and be able to say and feel, not just it's not a superficial thing, that these things, they don't matter to me. This thing matters to me. I want to be here. These things will keep going on. I will keep doing it, but I will be disinterested in the results of these things. I've got this 25 things I'm doing. All these 25 things, they sit in this bucket, and 89%, 90% of my energy, my mental energy, is focused on this other thing, the state of moksha. That skill is the skill of karma yoga. Tasmad, therefore, yogaya yujjasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. Okay. The skill that he mentions over here, Sri Krishna, skill that he mentions, or like I said, it's a overall combination of things that have been said so far. Maybe another verse. Karmajam buddhe yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha vadangacchantya-namayam. Karmajam buddhi yuktahi. Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha. So the Manishana is someone who has been able to do the karma yoga as it is supposed to have been done and reach that state of tranquility. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha. So this first line is basically saying that whatever I have been saying thus far, somebody is able to do it. There is somebody who has mastered this skill, this art, and he is able to distance himself from the results of the karma and is established in the right kind of tranquil state of mind. That he is been able to successfully get to that state where he is able to perform these actions in a detached way. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi. Buddhi yukta is uh, performs his karma wisely. I mean, we saw what wise is. Why he is explaining it. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi. Phalam tyaktva. He is mentioning that phalam tyaktva. He is enough. Tyaktva is renounce the phala, which is uh, a different way of saying is unaffected. He is outgrown. We have seen that. Karmajam buddhi yukta he phalam tyaktva maneshina. Such a person who has been able to do this. Janma bandha viniramukta. So he's going back to the doctrine of karma, where there is the man performs karma, and then the results of the karma, they bear fruit, maybe right away, maybe later, maybe sometime down the line in this life or in the future life. I had mentioned earlier, for those who believe in this, fine. Those who don't, that also is fine. You can just stick to this life and apply these rules. They are equally applicable. So the doctrine of karma, there is all this collection of the fruits of all the karmas that you have performed. This is the good thing, this is the bad thing. So you are doing your tax returns at the end of the year, and you have so much of income, and then these are the expenses, and then you get some net. This is how much you have already made, and you have got standard deduction. So all this math is going on here for the karmas that I've done, and then based on whatever is there, you pay your taxes, which is basically you will be reborn based on whatever is the outcome of the math that you have done. And so this is according to the doctrine of karma, a never-ending loop. So once you're born into this new life, you again perform karma, and then this keeps going on and on and on. But this person, the line before, Manishinaha, this person who has been able to master the skill of karma yoga, this person, he is able to, he gets away from this, he gets freed. He is no longer caught in this cycle. Janma bandha vinirmukta, becomes free from this cycle of birth and death. Why? Because this is very tricky, and we don't have that much of time. But this is close to the that LLC thing that I mentioned, or this private limited company, that he is able to sever for once he is able to sever this confusion. And separates these two things clearly. And therefore, the all the things that the company has got, he is completely divorced of that. That is what we will, maybe next time we'll spend some more time on it. In a very direct way, we say that a realized soul, Manisha is a realized soul. He stops, or he has got to a state where the karmas that he does, the fruits of the action are no longer applicable to him. So he no longer, the math, he gets out of the math. He is no longer part, the equation is no longer applicable for him. So A minus B is equal to C is the equation that is there. And B has, somehow B has become A. And so A minus A becomes 0 now. So that's somehow, if we want to just look at it directly, it doesn't fit like that, but just if you want to look at it in that way, Janma Bandha Vinirmukta means his balance in the karma bank has become 0. So therefore, there is no account left for this person in the bank, and he ceases to operate. Janma Bandha Vinirmukta. Padam, that is that state. Gacchantya is to go. Padam Gacchantya Namamayam. So without any kind of disturbance, without any regrets, he is basically at peace. So he is able to attain that state. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here. Let me just quickly see what the next verse is. Yada te moha kallam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada kantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya srutasya cha. We'll see this next time. Okay, thank you for listening, and we will talk next time.